What's up, everybody? Sean the D-Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great week. We are back with our episode 5 review of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and this episode revolves around the Sam character. And to be quite honest, I thought last week's episode was actually pretty good, but then this episode was kind of like, I don't really care much about this. Now, the episode revolves around the Sam character. She's obviously a photonic. She's basically a hologram. Now, a lot of this is from the Deep Space Nine era of Star Trek. So there's a lot of it I don't really understand in regards to like a planet full of, I think, like photonics or holograms, however you want to call it. So there is some context of that I'm not understanding. But pretty much, Sam's makers created her because they want to trust like organic beings, but they don't want to like be used again like they were. Because I believe they were like first when they were originally created, they were slaves and things like that. They they want to trust organics, but they need to know if that is even possible. And so basically, that's why Sam is at Starfleet Academy, is to learn about organics and what it means, like and things like that. And to be quite honest, the way they talked about this episode, or the way stuff with like what it means to be organic and stuff like that. To be quite honest, it felt like a rehash because you kind of already did something like this with Data in the Next Generation. He's an android, and he spends most of his time trying to understand basically what it means to be human. And I felt like they were retelling that in a different way, but I still feel like they were trying to retell that. There is a side plot going on with Nala, Kelrick, and this whole dinner thing he's trying to do. And it was just kind of like, I don't really care too much about it. But part of this episode, it revolves around, like I mentioned, Sam. But it also revolves around Sisko, because one of the things we saw this a few times throughout the trailers and stuff leading up to the show was this thing of like what happened to Captain Sisko and all that stuff. Now people of Deep Space Nine, they probably know and everything like that. Now I don't know anything about it. I have not gotten around to watching Deep Space Nine just yet. But it's this big mystery within you know the Star Trek universe. What happened to Cisco and all that, and so this episode, it would have made sense for her to be like this if they kind of made her like like a fangirl of Cisco. But like she spends this whole time trying to, because he was known as an emissary, and she's kind of viewing herself as an emissary, even though I don't think what she is doing is on par with what Cisco did. It just feels like I feel like they just wanted to add a Deep Space Nine kind of reference into the show. So one of the teachers at Starfleet, Ilna or Lena, I forgot how you pronounced it, but gives her like, well, her makers give Sam uh an order to take this particular class. The semester's almost over. Um, so one of the things Sam does is like, okay, if I solve this mystery, then I get to be in your class, that kind of stuff. So she goes on this journey of trying to learn about Cisco, about the mystery, what happened to him. Um, I like she talks to like Genesis, Jaden for some reason is wearing a skirt. Don't know why. Um, Caleb and a few of the other uh, Starfleet cadet classmates she has, and a lot of them are all kind of like, oh, it's he's probably Caleb's like, oh, he's probably dead. Guys like that either say something to the wrong person or do a crappy job. He's probably dead and everything. Um, So she just continues to go and learn and more about them. There's still this heated rivalry with the War College and Starfleet that's kind of going on as well. And Caleb hacks some systems. I think Sam's system, and like he gives her like purple hair, and he just does all um, these different features for her. And the purpose of that is later on in the episode, they go on into a club. Now Genesis seems to have been there a couple of times. Um, Darum knows a little bit about it because it used to be called the launching pad, I think, but now it's called the Academy, and it's midterm, so cadets get in like for free or something like that on Fridays. And Sam goes. Caleb is able to, um, you know, augment her systems to where she can feel what it's like to be drunk, and so he has it to where like once like each level equals one shot. So level one, it means you just had one shot. She cranks it up to 12 shots, and she immediately starts feeling the effects of being drunk. Um, so much though, it's just she's like going around just kind of being annoying. You got her talking to Caleb while Caleb is staring at Tarim from the other side of the room. She gets in a fight. She punches one of the Romulan War College cadet, and then I guess the whole brawl breaks out. I kind of wish we could have seen that. That would have been interesting to see. Um, what else about it? What else about the episode? There's talks about a book that Cisco's son wrote that he never published that the teacher had because the teacher is a trill. Now I think I've seen some people talk about this is like continuity era because a trill only lives up to, or the symbiote of a trill only lives up to a certain amount of years. This one is well exceeding over his years, so it just means they're not following already based lore and continuity with civilizations and stuff like that within the Star Trek universe. Um, and then it's just, I mean, like, and you know how last week I talked about with Jaden, there was this weird scene with him and Duran when Duran was teaching him Kalarian battle breathing, and it felt like a little. They were trying to do a little bit of like, not a straight up love scene, but they were definitely felt like they were definitely trying to hint at something. Well, in this episode, you have one of the War College guys. He's clearly gay. Basically, he's hitting on, or not. Maybe he's not hitting on, but he's definitely. You could definitely tell he likes Jaden in that specific way. Like it's pretty obvious. And eh, but I mean, just over like I mean, let me talk about the B plot. So Nala, so you got Kelrick who has a teacher from a different college coming to visit to potentially collaborate with the War College. Kelrick is nervous. He's boiling the ocean for her eels, and it's just this whole thing. So Nala tries to basically like because he's draining power from the school. So he's like, okay, stop messing with my power. I'll help you get everything ready. So it's her, Kelrick, Reno, and the doctor because the doctor is very is an expertise when it comes to um, the culture and traditions of the Althani. I believe that's what the race that was called. He's very fluent in that culture and everything. So he is going to help Kelrick get ready, make sure everything goes right, what to do, what to don't. So it just goes through this whole plot of them, and then the dinner gets kind of not well, and Kelrick kind of blows off Nala was just talking about like how basically brings up her abandoning Starfleet and everything like that. He even says an interesting line is just like, for someone who's lived 300 years, you have a short attention span or a short memory or something like that. So I mean, overall, I just because it opened with like this weird. Um, I guess the best way to put it, think of like the Netflix, not Netflix, but Disney Plus series Miss Marvel had it. It had like different colorings and stuff like that. Um, it's like kind of, she was like writing in it's like she was like writing in a journal, and like some of the stuff she was saying was like coming alive on screen. She's like she drew like a stick figure that was like moving around. So it was like stuff like that I didn't really care for. I don't really like the Sam character anyway. Um, she definitely she definitely like probably views a different she views things differently than what everybody else views, because there are times like in the beginning it shows her like walking through the hall high fiving people. Everybody's like, some smiling at her and everything like that, like they're buddy with her and stuff like that. And then it's kind of like then kind of like reality is like they're just looking at her, and not many people even talk to her and for about the first three episodes. So I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, overall, I just didn't really like this episode. I felt like episode three was actually really good. I actually kind of liked the stuff they did with Jaden. But then episode four dropped. I'm just kind of, or I'm no, I'm sorry, episode five dropped, and then I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't really care too much for this now. So it's it is what it is. So that's episode five. We've got 5 episodes left before we're done with the season, and we'll have to just see what they do with the season two. I'll be curious. Um, yeah, I'd be curious to see what they do with the season, with the end of the season, because Brock has got to come back. The cartoony villain from the first episode, he's got to come back. Probably Caleb's mother's got to make an appearance or something like that. Um, so I'll be curious to see. But overall, didn't really care for the episode. I will probably say these just have not been really interesting episodes to me. Like the whole series has not been interesting. Like it has not kept my attention as well as something like Star Trek: Strange New Worlds or Discover. Well, maybe Discovery, Lower Decks and stuff like that. Um, I don't know. I just feel like something's missing from it. I can't put my finger on what it is, but I do feel like something's missing from it. But that is relatively it, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below. You can also find me on my gaming channel, Kick, Twitch. Rumble is now back up and active. I have a couple of videos out on there now that you guys definitely go and check out. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.